Hello, hello, Otafest podcast listeners. This is Angelo, and I'm joined today by Nancy and Jay.
Hi, folks.
It's 2025, Jay.
Oh, baby.
It is 2025 Jay, and it is 2025 Angelo. Is it 2025 Nancy? Find out on this week's episode of the Otafest podcast. But first, Idol Festival registration is now open. We'll have our showcase, where you can dance and enjoy performing in an audience without the worry of being judged or compared. Come and have fun, meet new friends, and most importantly, enjoy performing. We also have a competitive option for those interested.
And get your AMV contest submissions in for prizes for glory. Visit Otafest.com for more information on both.
Yes, we're on Blue Sky. That's bsky.app/profile/otafest.com.
We're with the times, folks.
I like to call it Blueski.
Blueski. Blueski is
B-Sky.
good. Do you like to call what do you call the messages on Blue Sky?
Bloops.
Bloops? That one's actually pretty good. The community has kind of suggested skeets.
Skeets.
Ooh, I don't like skeets. Don't like skeets. I like bloops.
bloops.
And the truth is, I prefer tweets. It was actually well done with that system, but it's ruined.
Oh, it's ruined. It is. 100%. But that's why skeet is so good. It's a Blue Sky tweet. A skeet.
I like bloops.
Why can't it be a bleat?
Baleated.
Belated.
Belated. Belatedly, though, how were your holidays?
My holidays were absolutely fantastic.
I concur.
I'm glad to hear that. I was on call for a lot of my holidays.
How
so
dare they?
I know. I don't even get paid overtime for this.
How dare they?
How dare.
Wow.
A lot of my time was spent actually watching Sean play through Dragon Age The Veilguard. It's been interesting. I had many opinions on things like janky body language animations, the occasional kind of like you know how sometimes you're listening along to a character and you're like, yeah, that's really well performed. And then like some line in the middle just falls flat. Some of that happened. But you know what? Overall, the game sounds amazing. The game's environs are very amazing looking. It was really fun. It was really interesting to be told that there was a whole lot of backlash about this game on the internet. And then I asked why. And apparently it was not for reasons I would have expected. So I'm really glad that there's a small-minded community out there that just hates this game for very small reasons.
Was it a bunch of people complaining that BioWare made them ugly again?
No, actually, the facial expressions were interesting. So for the most part, they didn't look too uncanny valley. I think some of my personal nitpicks with the facial expressions is that sometimes I found the characters smiling a little too much.
Oh no. Ooh.
But,
Too happy to be there.
like just a little too happy to be talking about war, a little too happy to be talking about like
Don't they know there's pain and suffering going on?
mass genocide, So, yeah, I found that a little bit odd, but it wasn't like weird uncanny valley the way that it was with the last BioWare game.
Fair.
So yeah, actually not that bad. Again, the environs looked wonderful. They're all very fantastical. I kind of liken this game to Mass Effect meets The Witcher.
Oh, damn. That actually sounds pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's actually really fun. I recommend it. I would recommend that people who enjoy that kind of game play this one.
It's cool. The only game that I played over the holiday season was a pretty old game at this point, but something I've been meaning to play. And that's River City Girls 2.
Oh, nice. We did too.
Hell yeah. It was...
So fun.
Well, it's everything that the first River City Girls game was.
Was missing.
But with a lot of small quality of life improvements. The only thing that I can really complain about is there was one boss fight that was exceptionally unfun.
Hmm.
And beyond that, everything was fantastic.
Hmm.
The second last
fulfill-
boss, the food reviewer guy or the food content creator guy, he was great. I loved him.
Did it fulfill your like himbo meter?
Oh hell yeah!
I loved that about they were just so unabashed about it. It was great.
Oh god, it was such a good. It's such a good game. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it. If you like side-scrolling beat 'em ups, it's one of the best out there.
And it also has a great sense of humor, so
Yeah.
definitely give it a shot.
I didn't play too much over the holidays, but mostly old stuff again. Uh, I counted down to the new year while playing Mario Party Jamboree
Huh.
with my girlfriend and her family.
Nice.
It was fun.
Nice.
Uh,
Love that.
Yeah. It ended in small disappointment. I led for like 90% of the game, only to be taken down eventually, but that's okay.
That's
It
the way
meant I
that
had a
Mario
good
Party
time
always
throughout the
is.
middle.
That's how
Yeah,
you
like-
know it was a well-earned, hard-fought victory.
Yeah, everyone else suffered for most of the game. I enjoyed much prosperity until I was eventually taken down. And I was okay with that, actually.
You know, you became the raid boss. That's
Yes,
what happened.
It's true.
You pissed everyone
started-
off to the degree where over the last few turns, everyone was just like, "Oh, I have the chance to fuck somebody over.
Yep.
Oh, I know who's getting it.
I
know
started.
who's
I was the
getting it."
prime target for all the steals, all the chance times, everything. And again, I was okay with that. I really, legit, I led that game for like 90%. I'm like, that's fine. Good time for majority of it. I don't even have to win at this point.
Oh yeah.
I'm not in like absolute despair.
At some point, when that happens to you, when you become that person in any particular game, eventually it becomes a situation where it's not enough for the person who's stealing from you to win. They explicitly need you to lose. Like,
Yes.
the person who is in third place or second place might not steal from the person in first place because they're like, well, I could steal from them. It might put me ahead of them. But Jay.
Well,
Ooh,
the thing I like to
Jay.
do sometimes when I'm in that position where I'm ahead by like 3 or 4 stars, I try to convince them to steal from each other. I'm like, you're not going to catch me. Play for second.
That's cruel. Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not playing like relationship ending games too much.
I mean, if a relationship can survive Mario Party.
Yeah,
Well-
I remember many fights broke out when the new Super Mario Brothers game came out, and yeah, I remember a lot of fights happening.
Oh my.
You know,
I don't know. My girlfriend saw a trailer for Overcooked that I was like, she hasn't played before. I was like, I have it, but I don't know if I want to test us like this.
perhaps that is wise.
Yeah. I was like,
Perhaps
well,
that
if you
is
could survive
wise.
Overcooked, can't you survive anything? I'm like, maybe. But do you really need to test it?
You know, I don't think Dio and I have ever played Mario Party.
No?
It might be smartest to keep it that way.
Do you even
Hmm.
have a Switch?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
The only Nintendo console that currently exists in the house, there's a Wii, an old Wii, and a Game
Wow.
Boy Advance SP. I think that's it.
Wasn't there like a friendship testing type game on the Wii? What was it called? It was the one that got you to draw on each other's faces.
I don't remember that.
Oh,
No,
oh
I
no.
don't recall that either.
Oh, I'll find it later. Not right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, interesting.
It's pretty
I
bad.
wonder what other games have tested relationships in the past.
Ooh.
Monopoly.
I feel Monopoly. Oh,
Monopoly is the kind of game that tears families apart. I can't believe this game that existed to make you hate landlords turned into one of the largest games to ever exist.
True.
There is like a monopoly for every single franchise now, isn't there?
There really
Yeah,
is.
you're not a real franchise if you don't have a Monopoly tie-in.
Well,
It's how like Balatro has like already like a dozen game tie-ins. Like they're usually just skins for the card. Like I think there's a Witcher skin and there's a few other ones, but like
no way.
you're not recognized unless you're part of the Balatro crew.
Damn.
Okay, so you just reminded me. I sort of deleted this out of my memory for very quickly, considering it was only the holidays still like last week. So this is something that happened last week. Because I was on call, I mostly stayed home and made sure I was close to my computer if I needed to be. And in case you hadn't heard, Magic the Gathering has been putting out collab sets all year. They had a ton. They released Doctor Who cards. They've done some Marvel Cinematic Universe cards. They've done.
Was the Lord of the Rings set last year, or was that 2023?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's been a couple of years, I want to say. Like I don't play Magic.
The last
but
couple of
part
years
of their...
have resulted in a lot of different, existing IPs that have gotten cards. Whether they were secret layers or existing cards that were just reskinned for, the theme. So, Sean built.
It's part of like their IP partnership.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So, Sean built a couple of decks around Captain America.
Okay.
And
so
Wolverine.
tame. So
as you can expect, Wolverine does that thing where he gets really big and he just kind of rampages around and destroys things. Sure.
Wait, you mean Hulk or Wolverine?
Yeah, no, it was Wolverine.
Wolverine doesn't really
anyway,
get really big, does he? He does destroy things.
His mechanic makes him really big, and then he just goes around and stomps on things.
Okay.
Interesting.
Captain America's mechanic is that he throws his shield, right? Well, for this specific card, they made it so he can just throw equipment. And so you can imagine when you open up this very large catalog of cards that historically qualify as equipment, Captain America can now throw a lot of things, including hot soup, wedding dresses, groomsmen's uniforms, all kinds of things. He can also throw Excalibur, which just breaks my brain a little bit.
Correct.
It is hilarious in many, many ways. I think we also put Thor's hammer in there. So anyway, now I've got a mechanic where my commander is out and I need to be able to just throw things. I need to get equipment out. And at some point during the game, I can't remember the name of the card, but Sean puts it down and he gets to destroy a land. And he gets to destroy an enchantment, and then something else. But he targets my one land that I do need to keep Captain America alive. And my reaction was, verbatim, betrayal! I can't believe you do this. Divorce. Ooh. And then 4 hours later, I forgot it happened until he reminded me again that it happened.
He reminded you that you two got divorced over Magic.
Yeah.
You need to throw divorce papers at him.
Yeah, but you can throw a wedding dress.
I was kind of hoping
soup as Captain America for mega damage.
I was kind of hoping that his mechanic would actually involve throwing the physical cards at each other.
I mean, there has historically been a card in Magic the Gathering where the card text said something along the lines of, take this card, rip it into pieces, and then drop it over the field, and any card it lands on it destroys.
That's wonderful.
That's nuts.
All of the Magic
it's obviously
meme cards
not
like
a
that
legal
are
card.
Just so fucking good.
Yeah, there are all these kind of BS cards that they've made that are hilarious, but people would never actually use them in tournament. But yeah, Magic the Gathering has a history of very good senses of humor. So anyway, I'm really glad our relationship is fine.
I was saying that, like you said, you have Marvel character, like Marvel Universe cards, but my favorite one right now that they've partnered with, they have SpongeBob SquarePants
Yeah.
Oh my god.
characters. Yeah, SpongeBob's in there. I know Patrick the Star is in there. Like I saw it on Instagram. Someone's like, I'm building a Patrick the Star deck. And I'm like, okay, you do that.
Now, to be fair, it is very frowned upon to go around like absolutely like exiling people's lands. It's not good form, but I mean, he did win the game, and he managed to get like the 21 straight damage that he needed to just win a game in Commander. So, hey, he got his mechanic to work. He built his deck. It won. Good job. But I remember, anytime he reminds me, I remember just how absolutely betrayed I felt. I'm like, I can't believe you destroyed a land. He's like, I'm not supposed to do that. Like, it's pretty frowned upon in the community to do it. But I had the card there, and it let me win.
It's frowned upon in the community, but to my wife, I will destroy everything.
It's
Everything
fine,
they
right?
care about.
It's okay, right? And the worst part is, he pointed out later when he looked at my hand that I could have countered that.
Dio just
And because
gave
I
me the
didn't build the deck,
worst
I
look.
didn't know all of the cards that were in. And so standard logic machine that happens in Nancy's brain is when it's my turn, I look at how much mana I have and I look at what things I can play using that cost. And so I look at the top right corner of the card, but I forget to read the rest of the text. And this was a card that I didn't need to pay for under specific conditions, and I didn't know that.
Oh.
So I could have countered. I just didn't know. Everything's fine. We're not divorced. I promise.
That's unfortunate, but it's fortunate that you're not divorced.
It's fortunate we're not divorced over this. This time.
This time.
Relatively speaking, we're very good at keeping the feelings in the game. So it's very funny when we talk about video games that specifically test relationships.
I just like how we're all so old and busy these days. We asked each other about our holidays, and all we got were what video games we played. It's like, finally, there's 3 days off in the year. I'm going to be playing the video games.
That I wanted to play during the year, yeah.
I played some Neverwinter Nights,
Nice.
like the original.
You're
That's a
not supposed to
classic.
play those during winter. Never winter.
At night.
I mean,
At night only. Even though night here is very often the case in the winter.
Yeah. What else did I play? I played some golf with friends.
Oh, hell
yeah.
yeah.
That's a
Very
good
simple, very nice.
classic time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, not a whole lot happened other than family dinners and get-togethers. And what did Santa get you guys?
Ooh, I got bath stuff.
Nice.
I got some nice onsen minerals, some yuzu scented bath salts, some
that sounds
body
amazing.
washes and such.
I was gifted a very fancy fountain pen.
Oh my.
Ooh.
and some fancy soap. It's like soap that's wrapped with wool, so you don't have to actually scrub the soap bar directly against your hands when you're washing your hands. It's very interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It also smells like the Mr. Sketchy Purple marker, like identical
Oh my god.
to that smell. It's very weird to
like
walk
that
across
really fake grape smell, or
that super artificial grape purple.
interesting.
And to make things worse, the wool is also dyed that deep, deep purple. So I just look at it and I'm like, you smell like childhood.
I wonder who
washing my
came
hands
up
with
with
childhood.
that smell.
It is an actual chemical smell. It's a very simple flavor compound.
Oh,
It's just that for whatever reason, because of how old and simple of a flavor it is incredibly cheap to make. Like, if you ever watch Nile Red, he synthesized that molecule out of rubber gloves.
That is wild to me.
That I didn't know. I was just thinking about sort of the related thing where fake banana, or
Yeah.
not fake banana, but
That
technically-
penicillin banana.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be based off of like the old Gros Michel banana strain.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard, but I've never had that banana. I couldn't tell you if it
Because
tastes
it's
like that or
basically extinct.
It's
So-
not. it's just something you don't find in North America.
Oh,
It
It's
used to
actually
be the
fairly
only
easy to
kind of
find.
banana.
okay.
Yeah, it was for a long time. It was the dominant strain until it was found to be weak to a certain
Yeah, there
Pest.
was a type of mold that
pest or
basically
disease.
wiped it out.
Yeah, disease. I think it was. Yeah, and it's not that it's not grown ever. It's just for the North American market
Mm-hmm.
where all of what we do is import bananas,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
wanted the most resilient strain, which is why we have the current
The
banana, the
Cavendish.
Cavendish. Yeah.
Okay. Jay,
God,
you
why do I
can
know so many dumb things?
fact check me for this,
Yeah.
but I learned over the holidays, speaking of like smells, uh the Play-Doh smell. The smell
Mm-hmm.
that is Play-Doh itself, like the actual trademarked Play-Doh. That is a
Mm-hmm.
trademarked smell.
Really?
I'm not surprised. I would say that because there are, first of all, you can trademark just about anything if it's almost like a trade secret formula.
Mm-hmm.
I've
That's one of
never
them.
heard of that before, specifically for Play-Doh, but I wouldn't be surprised because it is incredibly consistent.
That is something I learned. And alongside that specific smell is one that I love, which is the Hisamitsu Salonpas patch mint smell. That smell is also trademarked.
Uh,
I love the way those patches smell. It is my favorite menthol, whatever blend it is that they use. It smells amazing.
my nostalgia for that was never Salonpas. It was Tiger Balm.
Yeah, Tiger Balm too.
Oh.
I also know that smell very, very dearly.
Hmm.
But Salonpas, that smell, that is trademarked.
Wow. I had no idea.
Weird stuff that I learned over the holidays. But yes.
Oh, I learned so many weird things, but I, in trademark fashion, have already forgotten it.
How
I'm sure
dare
it'll come
you
up at
forget
some
them?
point. No,
It will-
it'll be jogged at one point, and
Yes.
then I will once again have completely useless knowledge, like Gros Michel versus Cavendish banana.
Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody cares.
we
but
do
I-
now.
but I
we
know.
do now.
So it sounds like you guys were staying in gaming. I was being a good social person on New Year's Eve. I was
Damn.
going out, I was having some drinks.
Ooh.
Dio and I, we went to a close friend of ours' house for the usual sort of
Debauchery.
debauchery. How dare you libel us like this?
Celebrate.
I
Slander
said what
even.
I said. I said what I said.
Having some drinks, having some snacks, and then we decided to go see the fireworks. What's
Oh.
unlucky is that
Aw.
this friend of ours lives with a view to the Calgary Tower,
Uh-huh.
but for the last 2 years, the fireworks haven't been in the Calgary Tower.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So we decided we'd try taking the train down to Princess Island Park. We got to the train station and the platform was absolutely packed. Completely packed.
Did it resemble a Japanese train platform except with no order
A lot
whatsoever?
less orderly. Yeah.
Almost. The trains were about as packed as a Japanese train. The platform itself, it was reminiscent of Japanese rush hour, but not quite that bad.
Mhm.
But Dio, our friend, and I, we were standing there. We were like, well, do we really want to even try to get on this train? It's going to be cramped. It's going to be uncomfortable. What else is nearby? We take a look on the transit app, and there is a bus that goes right from that station to even closer to the park than any of the train stations would have brought us.
Nice.
It was absolutely fantastic. There was only 3 other people on the bus. It was free because
Amazing.
it was New Year's Eve. It was a perfect experience. It was absolutely great. We get to the
Amazing.
park. We do our exploring around. We see all the stuff that's going on. There's DJs playing music. There's people skating on the river. There's some food trucks across Memorial Drive. Of course, each of these food trucks had a lineup of about 200 people.
Oof.
I
That's wild.
can't imagine ever waiting in a food truck line of more than like 5 people.
True.
I feel like 5 people means you're getting your food in like an hour.
Unless I'm in Japan. If I'm in Japan, I will trust that lines will work, queues will work, I will get to where I need to be. But here, no.
No.
Oh, sadness.
But eventually, the snow that had been steadily falling let up just for a little bit. The DJ started counting down, and then the fireworks display went in full swing. It was absolutely wonderful. It has been a while since I've gone to the source to watch fireworks, you know what I mean? Like, truly gone out of my way for it.
Same.
And it felt
I got to listen to
great.
it. I got to listen to them when I was getting ready to go to bed.
Oh, nice.
So like I said, I counted down the new year by playing Super
Mario Party?
Mario Jamboree or Super Mario Party Jamboree. Anyways, the point being, we were on the last round as the countdown was actually happening. So we paused and we just looked at a digital clock, counted down that way. But for other friends, they told me that they had a little party at their place and then they tried to switch over to the CBC feed as countdown was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, for the province, for our time zone, they were up in like Edmonton. And as the countdown was happening, the feed glitched out.
Oh, no.
And then they switched over to like the Calgary feed, but it was really bad quality. Like they just patched over somebody with like a phone camera from the like early 2000s or something.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
And basically the countdown portion, as broadcasted by our national broadcaster, basically failed.
That's disappointing. So we did our countdown to the New York stream. So we kind of did our toast and our ring the new year in at 10. So we followed Eastern time. And so 10 minutes to their midnight, we dialed in to the ball drop stream of Times Square, and nothing was happening. It was a camera
What?
of the madness that is Times Square in New Year's. So you can see it's the square, you can see people, and you can see 7 or 8 people standing around the giant button that they press to start the ball dropping. But they were just standing there, and there was no real, like, there was music heard in the distance. There wasn't like a performance happening. No one was giving a speech. Like, nothing was happening. It was just a feed of what things looked like in the square. And then when the countdown started, like these 7 people like stood around kind of doing like the cold shuffle, the cold I gotta go pee shuffle.
Oh my God.
And then when it was 0, they all, all 7 of them put their hands on the giant button and pressed down, and then that was it. And then it was
That
like
sounds
the
horrible.
sound cut out. The sound cut out, and I was like, is it the stream? Like, what's happening here? And then all of a sudden they pipe in the New York, New York, that song. And that was it.
Okay.
And I was like,
That's it?
huh, that felt weird. Did that feel janky to anybody? Everyone's like, maybe their stream operator was on break. I'm like, on break? Like 5 minutes from midnight
Oh, my
on New
Lord.
Year's? So, I don't know. I think at that very moment, I really appreciated how much effort, management, time, training, like all those things that went into when we did Otafest virtually over Twitch. Like, I just remember how much production value went into all that. And I'm like, this would never have happened if this was Otafest.
What's crazy is that none of us actually have any production background,
No.
No,
except for Nancy being, I would say, the closest one.
maybe. But I mean, there's a lot of streaming on Twitch expertise that we were able to leverage
Yes.
in staff. So I think that was a lot more important.
But very few of us have any real
None of us have
considerable
worked in
background.
radio or television.
Technically that's not true. I think there's a staff member that does, but
There
I
are
don't think
staff
they
members
were
who do work
for
at least
radio,
adjacent
I wanna
to
say.
radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But I don't like that being said, with all due respect to that person, one person doesn't make an entire production.
Mm-mm.
Especially
No.
when that production team are as amateurs as we are. So it is kind of a credit to us, and we do take pride in that, I think.
Oh,
And
we
should.
absolutely do. When my first response to watching a stream like that and being like, that would never have happened if it was Otafest. Like the pride, my hubris, maybe that will come back one day to bite me. But in that moment, I was extremely proud of the fact that we as as an organization that we've put on better shows than this.
Yeah. We
Than
are the
this-
equivalent to them as like a ham radio operator.
Exactly. All
I
things
know.
considered, I was thrilled. I had a great time in Princess Island Park. Like,
Oh,
even
great.
the DJs, they were in on it. They were playing some really good music. Like,
That's awesome.
one of the most on-the-nose songs was Man After Midnight. Like, gimme, gimme a man after midnight. They had a
Yep.
bunch of other stuff going during the countdown that just made it feel so good, so hype. They were
I'm
bringing
glad.
the energy exceptionally well.
I love that for you.
I might
I'm
actually try to
glad.
go next year.
I would absolutely recommend it. Absolutely,
I
under
haven't,
no circumstances, do not drive.
No.
As
That's fair.
50,000 people were leaving the park, people were trying to drive out of the downtown core.
Ha.
It was gridlock. No cars were moving. People were honking
Good.
their horns. Nothing was happening. Don't drive downtown to New Year's Eve.
Don't drive
I
downtown
mean,
at
I
all.
can understand why some would if you're a family, like a young family.
Drive
Yeah, if
to
you've
a
got
parking
young
Because you're not
lot.
gonna
kids,
get
yeah.
like
Take the train.
kids around.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Like with the whole like young kids and strollers and that whole thing, like I can understand why you don't want to. It would be like it's like taking a kid onto an airplane, a long airplane trip. That would be the equivalent. I can get why they would car, but yeah, I don't think if you're like a couple, don't take the train or don't drive rather.
Don't drive.
If you're
for it.
adults, don't drive.
Even for us, between walking back to the station, taking the train and such, it took Dio and I almost an hour to get home from the park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was busy.
Wow. You may as well have walked a chunk of that, huh?
Well, we did walk a chunk of that, the normal chunk
Mm.
of that. But normally
Mm-hmm.
it would have taken us half an hour instead of like a full hour.
Yeah. I remember it
was-
being
it was
pretty
quite
bad
a bit.
anytime people left after any fireworks show, but I think it makes it especially bad when it's a holiday. The lights are all probably timed for a holiday, and it's cold. That always makes things way worse.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't windy. If it was windy, it would have been exceptionally brutal, exceptionally awful, cold, biting.
Miserable.
But at least it was just cold. I think it was like -12, -13.
Mm.
Like
I'm
to
glad you had a
go.
good
I
New
haven't
Year's.
been to a fireworks show in like a year at least. I
I'm
can't
trying to
remember the last
remember.
fireworks I saw.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I went to a fireworks show, not just like observed it from a vantage point.
Mhm.
Other than that, I think the only fireworks that we usually get would be like Canada Day and sometimes
Fest.
Stampede. Global
Global
Fest.
Fest.
Okay.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of fireworks, does anyone have any plans for Lunar New Year?
I do not. I don't think I've
Not
ever
yet.
had plans for Lunar New Year.
Fair.
I feel like I've invited you to a possible duck dinner at Lunar New Year.
Really?
Yeah, probably, but I don't do Lunar New Year duck as often, as weird as that is. Only because I already have a lot. Like, first of all, there was 1 year, for example, where I had 5 duck dinners on actual New Year.
Oh my god.
So by the time Lunar New Year rolled around, which is usually about a month or less later, even I am like, I don't need any more social events and I don't need any more duck events right now.
That's fair.
That is exceptionally
But sometimes I
fair.
do. Sometimes I do. But in terms of it's Lunar New Year is a little bit different for me sometimes because it's more of a family thing. Like it's more specifically a family thing. It's less of a friend's time of year.
I've just never really celebrated Lunar New Year at all. The closest I would have come to it would have been like Overwatch Lunar New Year events.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even Genshin Lunar New Year events when you played?
I remember there was the one Lunar New Year event they had, and it was okay. It was all right.
Man, I feel like Hoyo goes pretty hard when they do Lunar New Year events in their games, but I haven't logged into Genshin in a long time, so I have no idea what they've got planned going on.
It has legitimately been years for me.
Yeah, I don't think I logged in a ton last year, so it's gonna be coming up on my 1 year of not having logged into Genshin in a long time.
Mhm.
Soon,
I'm
very soon.
1 year free of gotcha games.
Wow. Wait, all gotcha
No,
games?
No,
That's not
no.
true.
I'm just making
plays
that as a
Pokemon.
joke.
Oh.
That's what you sound like, Nancy. It's like, I'm 1 year free of gotcha games. Where's
No,
my
that's a
special
lie.
coin?
I have now traded. I've traded Genshin for Star Rail, so I'm still playing. I am on the
Oh.
free to play gacha train. I just don't play Genshin
A
specifically
literal
anymore.
train.
I feel like you're the only person left playing Star Rail.
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel super inclined to play it except out of habit.
Fair.
I think the other habit that. Okay, so I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on podcast, but something I have been doing a lot of is playing Sudoku online, and they have daily challenges.
Oh.
And I went back at the end of the year to go look at how my year went, because I actually did try to do like I will try and do all of the daily puzzles this year and see where I get to. And you can absolutely see where I fell off when I worked on the audiobook all summer. Like, I sacrificed so much of my time such that there's this huge gap in my Sudoku dailies. If you scroll backwards in like the month to month, you see it. It's like there's this huge gap in August, and then after that I just stopped playing a whole bunch. So now I'm just going to be playing like permanent catch up to 2024. Maybe 2025 Nancy isn't here yet. Not until I go back and I do all these 2024 puzzles.
Oh
I
my
see.
god.
I was
We'll
like that
see.
with Wordle for a while
Oh,
because I'm much more word inclined than I am number inclined. Like I played Sudoku, I'm okay at it, but words are way more fun for me. But I probably only kept up with it until I want to say it was like the New York Times bought them.
Yeah, I remember
And then
that.
I was
They
like-
fell off after that.
Well, I just wasn't as inclined. I was like, it was nice when it was kind of like an indie project essentially.
yep.
And then I was like, I don't know. I don't need to play it. But I did keep up with the streak for like, I don't know, maybe 100 or so games.
Nice.
Have
So,
you
yeah.
ever
Pretty
heard?
quickly.
Have you ever heard of Sexaginta Quatortle?
No, my gosh, I know what that is.
I'm pretty sure you just cast some kind of Harry Potter spell just now.
So it is
Because
Wordle.
things are levitating across my room.
It is Wordle, but you have to solve for 64 words at once. You have 20
That's what
turns, if
thought
I
it
remember.
was.
You have 20 turns, and you have to solve 64 at once.
That sounds so hard.
It is crazy.
It sounds unnecessary.
It is unnecessary. It is. It is absolutely absurd.
Look, I get challenges. I do. I watch people play challenges on video games all the time. Sudoku's a challenge. Many things are challenges, but there are such things as excessive challenges to me. Where at some point, the dopamine hit of, solving said challenge is no longer applicable. Like the cost benefit analysis of that is no longer interesting to me.
You get 70 guesses, though.
Oh, is it 70 guesses?
You get 70 guesses, though. That's like a whole, a day-long affair right there. You may as well just play this game and not be employed.
Damn. If only I could be just not employed.
If only you could be unemployed and play Sexaginta Quatortle.
Yeah. If only I could just escape capitalism.
If only we could all escape capitalism.
Seize
But
the means
yeah.
of production.
I play probably more committedly Sudoku than Star Rail. I don't feel the gacha spirit anymore. I feel like playing gacha games for years in a row have destroyed my actual desire to gacha. I don't know.
Maybe you should just play Infinity Nikki.
Oh my gosh. People have been playing the heck out of that game, and it's hilarious.
I'm low-key interested in playing it because I like
Fashion as a
fashion.
mechanic?
Yeah, not for me personally. I don't give a crap. But I like, for example, Monster Hunter. You can do what's called fashion hunting because in Monster Hunter there's
That's the end game. The end game is actually fashion hunting. So
It
is
is.
in Guild Wars 2, it's Fashion Wars. Once you get
Because-
to all the end game content, it's just, doing things for nicer looking outfits.
Well, do you know if you can apply skins to armor?
Yeah, you
Because
can.
in Monster Hunter then it's the same thing where you can still have your really weird mix of armor pieces and weapon.
But you can
But-
transmog.
Yeah, but then you can apply a nice skin that's all for each
Yeah.
piece and make it,
So okay, so
Fashion.
in Guild Wars, you can do special achievements and weird dungeons and all kinds of stuff. But once you get an item, like an armor item, if you break it, you automatically own the skin to it, so you can just apply it to anything you want. You just have to pay whatever the in-game cost is of applying it to something. And often it's nothing. Often you don't have to apply anything to transmog. It's so easy. So people will go after certain sets because they like the overall look, and then they get the skin, they apply the skin, and then they just recolor everything to what they want it to be. And then you're gold. And that's the real end game, Fashion Wars.
yeah, it's no longer about, beating the boss, completing the mission. It's, I'm gonna look good. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna exterminate entire species for it.
And
my God.
Infinity Nikki is basically just Fashion Wars up front.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Like I said, I've considered playing it. I haven't actually looked into it yet.
Do
But
it.
it's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Do it.
I guess that
Do it and
means
stream it.
we have to let you all go so that Jay can play Infinite Nikki.
Do
Is
it.
it Infinite Nikki? I thought it was Infinity.
It might be Infinity
I don't-
Nikki. I can't
I think it's
remember
Infinity
video games.
Nikki.
I've never
fine.
played video games in my life.
No, really?
I know, I can tell. However, I know you've watched anime, and speaking of anime, our next episode will be finally our winter preview. So stick around for the ride.
Let's
Exciting
go.
times.
2025.
Happy 2025.
Happy New Year.